Have you ever felt like the more you want something, the farther away it seems? Well, here we go. Welcome to the Sunshine State. My name is Sunshine Wiley, and I am your host. Today, I want to talk about non attachment living. A lot of times when we are living our lives, we are so into the societal norms of certain things should happen and certain things are expected that we don't necessarily give way to the fact that time and seasons change, that the environment changes, people change, we change. And sometimes the things that were expected in the past might not necessarily be what is supposed to be accepted right now in the future. And now, in talking about non attachment living, for me, it was a hard pill to swallow. I am a nester by nature, I am a nurturer by nature, and I am a person who likes to, I guess, mother bear people. And that has not always worked out in my favor. And not necessarily because mother bearing people is wrong, but it's just that you have to know when the right time to do that is. You have to know the type of people who are open to that and when it's the appropriate setting to do that. Of course, because I'm a mom, mother bearing my kid is gonna always be on point and is gonna always be something that's accepted. But when it comes to my friendships, when it comes to my family members, when it comes to my relationships and things like that, it has to be, you have to kind of use kitty gloves, and you have to kind of operate with a little bit of understanding that these are adults, and that depending on how they may have come up, depending on how they may have operated in their own lives, being mother bared, even if it's just in one instance, could be taken the wrong way. It could be taken as controlling. It could, and honestly, if we're going to be honest, a lot of us who have mother bared, sometimes we are trying to control the situation. And we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to be honest about that. You know what? Let me not say that. Some of us don't want to talk about that, but I'm one of the people, because I know there are more like me who do want to talk about it, because I'm always striving and I'm always looking to find ways to get better and to grow. I am in a place in my life, like I said a couple episodes back, I am in a season of my life of radical acceptance of my entire life. I have to fully accept and embrace the things that are for me and that are things that I need to be working on, and I need to be making sure that these that I understand that these certain things are not healthy for me. And in order to move forward, I have to be honest and I have to radically accept what is in my life and what is not. And just because something is doesn't mean it's a bad thing. What is can also be I am talented. That is a positive thing. What is not is that that talent is just going to fade away because I'm not the number one person on whatever. What is the fact that I have to continuously exercise that talent so that it continues to grow. What is not is that I can't just sit on the talent and expect it to grow and do absolutely nothing. That's not how it works. There was a conversation had with a person, I won't name names, but there was a conversation that I had with a person this week, and it was more so like they were like, "Well, why am I not rich yet? Why am I not uh to the place where I want to be yet?" And so there is effort that this person has been putting in, and there is work that this person has putting in. But as a person who is that person's friend, I had to be honest with my friend and tell her that, like, look, the reason why you are not rich yet, if we're gonna be very honest, is because you feel like you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be rich girl, whatever your name is. And that's not the way it works. For some people, it might work that way. But tomorrow, you're not gonna just wake up and be rich. You have to put the effort towards whatever thing that you're working towards so that you can be that. One of the things that I was looking at on Instagram lately, there was this reel. Pull it up, and it's talking about how people don't change unless they actually want to change. So you can be as annoying, you can be as nagging, you can be as just as whatever. They could be really harming themselves, and they can really be moving towards a negative direction for themselves. And as much as you can want good for them if they don't want it for themselves. Or let's put it here, people can want you to change as much as they want. But if you don't see the value in uprooting what you have gotten used to, or what you have learned, it ain't gonna happen. So as much as I want the best for you, as much as you might want the best for me, nothing is going to happen until I make the decision that I'm tired of living life this way. I'm tired of obtaining these results. I'm tired, not even if it's negative results, but I'm tired of not getting to the level that I aspire to get to. Like there are specific levels that I want to reach in my personal life. There are levels I want to reach in my fitness journey. There are levels that I want to reach within my finances, in my relationships. There are levels, like several things have different levels that I would like to obtain. And until I make the decision to put concerted efforts in those directions, very pointed efforts in those directions, those things are not going to happen for me. And I have to be honest, they're not going to happen for you either. Because we have to realize that as beautiful, as wonderful, as dope, as gorgeous, as talented as we are, if we don't actually pick up the talent or the plow or whatever it is that we're supposed to be putting our hands to make it move, it ain't gonna move. You're not gonna be like, move, and it just moves. Doesn't happen that way. And so I saw that reel, and it was a reel that was just kind of like one of those um, animated graphics where it was by Opus Reality. And they talked about it, and it was more so like about these graphics and talking about how change can occur for a person, and how if you're on the outside looking in, you're doing more harm than good by trying so hard to force them to change. To be honest with you, you putting so much effort in trying to get somebody else to change, you're missing out on the things that you should be doing and with and for yourself. And that thing was good to me because I it contributes to my need and my desire to want better, not only for myself, but for the people that I am attached to. And so, in talking about non attachment, today I want to explore number one, if it's even for me. Number two, um, if it makes sense, like on in the grand scheme of things. And then number three, how do we apply it if it is for us? So one thing I want to talk about is there was a time in my life where I was really trying to force a lot of things. And there was a time in my life where I was just very unhappy. And I'm still recovering from it. But there was a time in my life where I was trying to push and force a lot of things in my life. And those things were just not happening. It just seemed like the more I wanted these specific things, the more it was like, oh, you want that? Ha! Never. You'll never get that. And I was so defeated and I was so down and I was so really harmful to myself in the way that I thought and the way that I spoke, that it was like it started to really permeate the relationships that I had outside. And of course, the relationships are a part of the things that I want. I want a close knit tribe. I want people who support me and who understand that, I'm a part of their tribe too. I want to be able to have flourishing relationships and friendships and familial connections and things like that. I want those things. What I also had to realize is that time, life, trauma, experiences, the way your family operates also plays a part in that. So you can want it as much as you want, but you also have to realize that people on the outside also have a choice in the matter. People on the outside also have to play a part in whether or not they also want to be a part of that. And it's hard because what I had to realize is certain people I can't choose whether or not they're my family. Some people I can't choose whether or not we have a blood relationship and connection with. And so trying to work through those connections, even though they don't want it, is hard to accept because what I had to realize and what I'm still realizing, I feel like I'm still realizing a lot. But what I'm still realizing is that it takes me accepting, you know what? Let me take a step back because I want to I want to tell you about a time, a specific time where I stopped trying to get it and it happened for me. Um so we'll talk about my workout journey. You can't really see it all this beautiful, well brand apparel right now because it's kind of covered up. But there have been some real gains in my life as far as my fitness journey has gone. And I feel like it didn't start happening for me until I started enjoying the journey. It didn't start happening for me until I felt a sense of pride and enjoyment when going to the gym. The moment that I was like, oh my God, the moment those times where I was like, "Oh my god, I hate this." Those were the times where it was harder for me to be like to make myself number 1 get up and go, to make myself number 2 eat the right things, to make myself number 3 actually feel like, "Okay, let's do this all again the next day." Those were the times where it was harder for me to enjoy that. I didn't enjoy it, and then I wasn't really seeing any results. But when I started taking pride in number 1, the way I look when I go to the gym. It makes me feel good if I'm not just wearing my family reunion t-shirt and some regular little lounging pants and any old kind of tennis shoes with mismatched socks and my hair is all crazy and a bonnet, things like that. See, that don't make me feel good. I feel good when I look good. And it sound like the whole Deion Sanders thing. You look good, you feel good, you do good, you perform good, all that kind of stuff. Y'all laugh at him, but that actually made me feel better. I was in there like, oh, okay, I'm a little lightweight athlete. I can't lift but this amount, but I'm doing it. Y'all don't see me over here. And when I started to feel those things for myself, I started to take joy in the moments where I was fueling my body with life-giving activity. That I started to actually really see gains. I started to see the little muscles in my arms, started to see the little look. One thing that has been a long battle is trying to get this back fat out of the way. And I and it's a lot of people who are probably gonna want to shake me after this episode, but that back fat is a demon, okay? And that thing act like you don't want to let go. Like all around here, I put a post up on social media talking about if people didn't think I was getting a BBL, I would definitely have already gotten 360 lipo because it's this sis right here. She don't want to go nowhere. She act like this is her house. She pay mortgage and she not leaving. But I had to put her on notice. Sis, you are about to tighten up. You're not gonna have to leave all the way, but some of your parties gonna have to tighten up and shed some pounds because we getting this together. And I started to see results when I started taking pride in what I was doing for myself. I started to take I started to take real accountability for the fact that, okay, ain't nobody gonna be able to get in that gym and move your legs for you. Ain't nobody gonna be able to get in this gym and do whatever core work you're doing for you. You got to do it. I started I actually started posting on social media my fitness journey and getting a lot of encouragement and things like that. Because whether or not you know it, encouragement helps. It helps for somebody to be like, I see that you're doing well. I see that you're growing in this area. It feels good, and I'm not going to be ashamed that it feels good. It does. It feels good to be doing work and for that work to be recognized. It just does. And for the people who say, "Oh, I don't need nobody to tell me I look good." Okay, cool. That's you. That's not me. I do. Well, need is the wrong word because I don't need it. I don't. I do not. I like it. Let's be very clear. Um, and so when it comes to non-attachment, I'm just going to define it real quick. So I got the definition from Psychology Today. I like to give y'all my sources because clearly I didn't make up the definition. Ain't nobody's doctor, none of that. So Psychology Today is my source. So non-attachment is a state of being where you interact with your thoughts, feelings, and experiences without trying to control or fixate on them. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. The number of times I have had something in my mind and just wanted it to be exactly this way, and I've made up in my mind that this is just going to be it. No questions asked, no other options, no other alternatives. This is just it. That thing has been dragging me through the mud and it has been beating me down for a long time because what I have realized is that I always want, even though I might have it in the right spirit, I might be in the right mindset and mind frame to do it. I don't necessarily have to be in control of it all the time. Sometimes I have to be an observer that allows, that experiences and accepts that certain things are happening. I don't have to be the puppet master all the time. Shoot. Um, and I'm gonna read the rest of that. It can help you live a more flexible and open life. Now, that sounds a lot like radical acceptance to me. So, I'm going to read the definition one more time. Non attachment is a state of being where you interact with your thoughts, feelings, and experiences without trying to control or fixate on them. It can help you live a more flexible and open life. So, now, what I will say, that sounds like a lot, and it sounds damn near impossible to do for someone like me because of all of the things in my life I feel I have not seen yet. Because of all the things that I feel in my life I have not experienced yet, and I have not had the joy of embracing just yet. But the one thing that I am really, really starting to feel aligned with in regards to this type of a definition is that allowance part, because I want to live a life that is open to positive experiences. I want to live a life that is open to receiving all the love, all the joy, all the peace, all the success that is there for me, and not just the things that I have predestined or pre planned or fixated on in my mind. I want to be open to understand that the things that I think about are limited. This is my view is not the view of everything that could possibly happen. There are so many more possibilities that if everything that happened in my life was only limited to what I put in this box, then I'm missing out on so much more. And so I'm really starting to align with the fact that maybe allowing and being open to things being better than you expect them to be, or maybe not being how you expect them to be at all in the first place, is something that I need. So I'm going to read the radical acceptance definition as well, because that sounds a whole lot like radical acceptance to me. So now, by contrast, hold on. Let me see. Okay. So, by contrast, non attachment means engaging with experiences without fixating or the need for them. Um, Whereas radical acceptance, now y'all, I done forgot. Where is my here? Lord, I put it on there and now I can't find it. That's why you got to do better. I'm getting old. I need to start. Here we go. I'm getting old. I need to start getting bigger typing. So, rather than being attached to a painful past, radical acceptance suggests that non attachment is the key to overcoming suffering. Um, so radical acceptance is more so making sure that you accept these things, that you understand these things, and that you allow yourself to not be defined by those things. Whereas non attachment is more so the tool that can be used for radical acceptance. And I'll hold my mule because, again, this is foreign to me. I am a nester by nature. So, like, not holding dear, not holding close, not holding the concepts in my mind of being that nurturer for people is foreign to me. And so I have to realize, okay, so how does this work for me? How does this fit for me? How is this something that I can adapt to the type of person that I am? Because what I also have to realize is that my nature is a certain way on purpose. And so while I'm trying to accept and understand all of these different concepts, I also have to understand the type of person that I am. And I also have to understand, how do I make sure that I allow that to overlap in a way that's healthy for myself as well as the people that are accepting it. So, um, here are some ways that non attachment can be applied to our lives. In relationships. In a relationship, non attachment means not relying on the other person for validation, acceptance, or approval. Y'all. Women, us. You know what? No, because I've been in relationships where the other person needed me to tell them how amazing, how awesome they are too. I've been in relationships where if whatever words that I was speaking to that person, uh, if they were just about, oh, well, we need to do X, Y, and Z, yada, 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 general stuff. But then I also wasn't, oh my gosh, thank you so much for taking out the trash. That some people were having some fall apart moments because you weren't stroking their ego. And for me, uh on my side, validation is important to me. I just said that a second ago. And so, validation and acceptance. I am a person who has survived traumas, and that trauma has been a huge source of me feeling outside, like an outsider. It's been a huge source of making me feel like I am always on the outside of love, always on the outside of experiencing, ooh, always on the outside of experiencing the things that can make me feel like I am accepted or I'm approved of and I'm not rejected. And what I will tell you is that two things have to happen here for me. Number one, I got to work on those feelings that have lingered from that trauma. And I have been doing my whole trauma narrative work with my therapist. I actually did it today, and I was like, oh, girl, we gotta stop talking about this for a second. I gotta shake this off because it's heavy. It's a lot. But so I have to do that work where I'm working through my trauma. I'm working through those residual triggers and things like that. But then also on the other side, on the non-attachment side, I also have to realize that outside of all of that, this person is not my past. This person is not associated with the trauma that happened to me. This person has had their own life stuff that has occurred. This person has had their own things to happen, and I have to realize that as I'm doing that and as I'm operating with love for this person, if I'm giving them the space to be them, that is me also radically accepting that they too are a person and that they too need some love and some support sometimes. It ain't just always about you, me, us, we. It's not. It's not. So now, non attachment in relationships, this can help you be more open with others. Share yourself authentically and embrace authenticity in others. So now, for me, I was asking the question, so how does non attachment mean I can be authentic and mean I can embrace others? Because in my mind, non attachment means neglect. In my mind, non-attachment means that there's not going to be any sense of closeness. There's not going to be any care or consideration. But I had to go in a little bit deeper and realize that it has absolutely nothing to do with you not being loved, has absolutely nothing to do with you not being accepted, has absolutely nothing to do with you not being cared for and cherished, because all of those things can exist within a non-attachment lifestyle. And so what it actually means, because the words to us to be attached is to be with or on top of. And but that's not the case. What the actual case is when you're not attaching, you're not boxing in. When you're not attaching, you're not limiting. You are allowing freedom. You are allowing things to come in a more beautiful, in a more expressive, in a more authentic, and in a more productive way. Because again, our minds are limited, and there's only so much our mind can think of without actually understanding that there's way more to be experienced. So now that's with the relationships. Um, And here is with the desires, outcomes, and material things. Because I speak from a person who is not necessarily attached to material things, but there are people who are attached to material things. So for those who have desires, outcomes, and material things that they're attached to, non-attachment means not getting overly attached to those things. Meaning you are not married to the fact that you got this Ferrari, or you're not married to the fact that you want a Ferrari. You're not married to the fact that you want um, a Gucci purse or whatever, or a Gucci belt or whatever you might want. You're not married to that outcome or to that material thing. You understand that it would be nice to have it, but that's not something that you're going to rob Peter, kill Sally, and sue John in order to obtain. It's something that would be nice to have and that you welcome and that you accept, but it's not something that you would wreck your life over. Um, and there are some of us that operate with a level of desperation, helping me. There are a lot of us that operate with a level of desperation when it comes to those specific things that it kind of crowds out the ability to actually experience the joy and the fullness that's within life because you are so obsessed of those things. Thirdly, self concepts, the things that we think of ourselves. Non attachment means not getting overly attached to self concepts. It is a moment to moment experience. Non attachment can apply to your moment to moment experience of living. Every time that you have something to happen for yourself, you don't have to be attached to it. You don't have to be attached to the fact that you are a superhero. You don't have to be attached to the fact that you have this idea in your mind of who you should be, of where you should be. Those are your self concepts that you might be attached to. And when we allow ourselves to operate in a moment by moment experience, it is something that allows us to experience freedom. It is something that allows us to have more of the joy and the good things that we want to come to us because it allows us to be more open. Practicing non attachment involves changing your behavior. Um, Let go of attachment to being right and ask for feedback on how you can change and grow. Let go of normal. Whatever you thought was normal in the past, whatever you thought was the right way to do things in the past, we got to let go of those things. There are so many times in our lives that we miss out on positive experiences of things that were destined or meant for us because we are so stuck in what we think normal is that it's actually deafening. There are times in my life where I know that there were things that had I said yes to those things that were scary to me, I would have been in a place now in my life that is what I've always wanted to be. It's the place that I'm working towards now. I could have already been there had I not operated in fear, had I not operated in, well, this isn't what my family normally does. Well, this isn't what people normally do. Well, this isn't how things normally go for this. I will already be where I want to be if I let go of what I expected. Those expectations can be a double edged sword. They can operate in a way where you have expectations for yourself and you want to do well for yourself, but then those expectations can also limit you. They can also be a way that keeps you from being able to experience more of the things that you would like to have for yourself. You can hold multiple perspectives. You can hold multiple perspectives. It doesn't just have to be the sky is blue and that's it. So the sky is blue right now, but when the sun sets, the sky can also be different colors. So multiple perspectives can happen at the same time. When you are attached to ego, my lord, you only see your world through the lens of your ego's story. I'm going to say that again. When you are attached to ego, you only see your world through the lens of your ego's story. So whatever you've told yourself, whatever you have made up in your mind, whatever narrative you've accepted, that you've bought into, that you have decided is it, that's all you see. That's because you're attached to your ego. Try looking at your experience from many different perspectives. What is the perspective of your coworkers, your children, your strangers, someone you disagree with, or even your pet or your past? Because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. It's a lot of us who have had some really tumultuous pasts. We have had some times in our lives where people have been shitty to us. And those shitty people are still in your back pocket. They have been just the worst people to you. I know a person right now who will not go to a certain place, who will not visit a certain place because that place reminds them of their ex. That entire city reminds them of their ex. I'm like, so you mean to tell me your ex got that much power over you that you can't even visit a certain city? Well, damn. I don't ever want to be that trapped by someone's negative influence that I am keeping myself from experiencing the possible joy that could be in that place for me. Forget her. Forget him. That person is trash and they're gone. It's over. You literally never have to see that person again in life. You have the ability to let it TF go. Okay? You literally have the ability to let it go, to move on, to grow, and to create a better future, a better forward for you. That person does not have to be what exists in your current life. So stop. Hmm. I'm gonna take a sidestep. So let's stop talking about them. Let's stop bringing them up. Let's stop thinking that just because they was trash, every other person after them is going to be trash. Let's stop thinking that just because that person operated with this specific mindset, that everybody is going to operate with that specific mindset. Let's stop thinking that just because that person wanted to use you and all they wanted was a gimme, 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 and your heart was so open, you were willing to give it to that person that you're not going to give to nobody else because of the way that person did you wrong. So you mean to tell me the person that's for you, you ain't gonna give them nothing because this person did you wrong? Even though you got a giving spirit, even though it's in your heart to operate in a certain way, you're gonna cut off who you are because that person was wrong. No, all that requires is a little discernment. All that requires is a little bit of you taking more time to get to know a person so you can understand whether or not you can use that discernment and you can understand, okay, so this is how it happened in the past. Let me ask some clarifying questions. Let me do a little bit of digging and understanding this person before I open that side of me. Instead of just thinking, well, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to be this for a person again. No, because you blocking you from being you. You blocking your person that you actually love from experiencing the good parts of you that exist that you know are good parts of you. Which is why I got to tell myself yet again, I feel like I be talking to myself in all of these podcasts. Lord, stop trying to cut off the fact that you are a natural giver. Stop trying to cut off the fact that you're a natural nurturer. Stop trying to cut off the fact that you care deeply for people that you love because these people did not know how to accept it, did not know how to appreciate it. Now, there are ways that you can adjust and make it palatable to the people. And honestly, because you're being mindful of the person that you love, making sure that you are doing it in a way that is catered to that person or that is customized to that person. Because a lot of times when we say cater, we don't want to hear cater because it's like, I'm not going to serve. Well, do you? Okay. All I'm saying is that I want to be in a relationship where we serve each other. I don't want to be in a relationship where it got to be, I'm gonna get me, forget you. You better get yours because I'm gonna get me. Nah, you ain't for me. The person that is for me understands that we are in service of each other, that we are trying to make sure that there is happiness between the two of us. No, he ain't got to make me happy. No, I don't got to make him happy. But what does happen is that we are considerate and mindful of the things that makes the other person happy. And when the opportunity arises, we allow that experience. Because, see, there's a difference between operating selfishness, because it's the selfishness that feels like, well, I'm going to get me, forget you. You better figure it out. Nah, that's not going to allow you to experience the full and the utter happiness that you want in the first place. Anyway, I done got off track. So, by allowing for multiple perspectives, you expand your awareness beyond your ego and see there are multiple points of view and that you can hold many different points of view at one time. This is going to help me and maybe a few other people on social media who think that if you say a certain thing, another thing can't be true at the same time. At the same time, at the same time, at the same time, because it can. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Multiple things can be true at the same time. They can. You can like ice cream and you can like yogurt, frozen yogurt. You can like gelato and you can like ice cream and frozen yogurt. They can all happen at the same time. You know what can also be true? You can like sweet potato pie, which I don't like, and I can like pumpkin pie, which you don't like. Those things can both be true at the same time. One thing can be good to me, and and something else can also be good to you. I don't have to like exactly what you like. You don't have to like exactly what I like. And that's fucking okay. It's okay. It's okay for there to be different things that we like. It's okay. Get over it. There is no cookie cutter way of liking, of being, of embracing things. It's just not. That is the group thing mentality, the group think mentality that people like to have. And we don't have to be that. There's nothing in this world that says we have to be limited to liking the same thing that everybody else likes. There's nothing in this world that makes us, that has a rule that says that if you don't like what the group likes, then something is wrong with you. We got to get out of that. I got the words for y'all today. Lord, y'all done let an F bomb slip. What? So rather than being attached to a painful past, uh, let's just make sure that we understand that non attachment means engaging with experiences without fixating on them or a need for them. So instead of, talked about this earlier, instead of exercising to hit a target weight, it's possible to exercise to just enjoy the fact that embrace the enrichment, embrace the moment of you having fun being active. Embrace the fact that you can have joy in movements and its health benefits. Embrace the fact that you can be doing like a team sport with people that you're having a good time with. Like I'll give an example. Warrior Ball is so much fun. I can't go today because I'm recording, but and then I also had other stuff to do earlier, but Warrior Ball is extremely fun. So much fun. And I will say that that is something that is a hell of a workout. That thing will have your body from head to toe, your face muscles hurt after that. But it's so much fun that you're doing it and you're exerting all of this energy. And by the time you're done, you have burned more than likely about 1,000 or so calories because it's that good of a workout, but it's also that fun at the same time. And so that's what it means to embrace the fact that maybe the journey doesn't just have to be grueling. Maybe the journey can be enjoyment. Maybe the journey can be more than what you have expected it to be in times past. So I will leave you with this. There are a few questions that I ask myself when it comes to the non attachment living. And I have to be honest with myself. Some of the questions or some of the answers aren't what I expected them to be. And sometimes I have to go a little bit further and dig a little deeper and see a little bit more about myself in regards to that. Child, I almost forgot about this wine, but I had to see if those things were actually gonna align with me and the person that I am. Because what I was trying to get to earlier is that just because you are working and trying to get specific management skills incorporated into your life doesn't mean you have to lose who you are innately as a person. Because I don't actually believe that who we are innately as people are wrong. So, first question: is it really possible to live that way? To live a life that is, instead of being fixated on things, is more so accepting of things? For me, I think the answer is yes, but I think it takes work. I think it takes work of me retraining my mind and moving outside of the ideals and the concepts that I was fixated on. The things that I was married to, so to speak. Those concepts that I was like, well, this it has to be like this. Like it's not right if it's like that. I have to get rid of those. And so that's gonna take work. I'll give you an example. There are parental relationships that did not exist for me. And because I was so fixated on the way a parent is supposed to be. Now, let me put this out there. I'm not saying that I hate my parents and that they're this, that, and the other, they're trash. No, that's not what I'm saying. There are certain things that when you watch TV, TV gives you an idea of what you think parents are supposed to be like, and that's not real. When you watch other people in their families, you're like, well, why don't my no? You have parents that are made, uh, that made you, and that have the capacity to be what they can be for you. And what you also have to realize is that sometimes there are limitations, just like limitations that you have that they have had to overcome. And so it might not have been easy because you were on the struggle bus right along with them. Maybe they had to work extra hard because y'all needed that rent paid and the ends just wasn't all the way meeting. So y'all had to eat the little ramen noodles. Y'all had to, they did what they could do. And you learned through them how to persevere. Because I damn sure learn how to work hard, how to persevere, how to make it happen by watching my mother. My mother is the hardest working person that I know. That doggone lady, she ain't, first of all, she's not going to be without a job, number one. Second of all, she's not going to allow us to starve. So she's going to make it happen. I learned that through her. There were other areas that I had to learn other things though. And that's why it's important to have mentors. Going right back to having a tribe, going right back to having people who are connected to you, who can give you multiple lessons. That's why it was important to me to have other people, other adults in my life to impart into me in certain ways. And I'll leave it at that. So, what keeps us from this way of life? Drink on that. Oh, that's good. I'll tell you what keeps me from non attachment living. The fact that I have to really understand how non attachment and acceptance can exist at the same time. For me, understanding fully how non attachment and acceptance can exist in the same sentence, in the same world, in the same mentality is something that I have not all the way got yet. I totally understand that non attachment is allowing things, but what I mean by acceptance is feeling embraced, is feeling seen. There is an underlying disregard that I think people have in non attachment lifestyles, and disregard does not work for me. Disregard is not something that I feel like is associated with love. You cannot disregard me and love me. That don't make sense to me. That's not real to me. That is operating in selfishness, in my opinion. Now, if y'all can help me understand a different way of seeing it, okay. But so that is one of those concepts that I have to really get past and really study a little bit more. And of course, as I learn a little bit more about it, I can share with you guys. But that's one of the things that I really got to get past in order for me to really see if this is something that I can or adapt to my life. Another question: how will it work while loving people? Same question. How can I love you and not have form some type of attachment to you? How can I love you and again, cuz I'm doing it wrong cuz I'm just learning this concept. Y'all, it's brand new. It's fresh for me. So I'm going to go back to the definition again. Non-attachment is a state of being where you interact with your thoughts, feelings and experiences without trying to control or fixate on them. So again, that didn't have nothing to do with the fact that a person couldn't love you. Nothing. Again, so let me read it again. Non attachment is a state of being where you interact with your thoughts, you interact with your feelings, and you interact with your experiences without trying to control or fixate on them. So now, if I go back down to my question, if I'm not fixating on all those things, how will that work while loving people? So for me, that allows me to be more free and more open and more authentic with people because, again, I'm not married to concepts and ideas. So maybe that's how it works. So if I'm thinking of it that way, then that's how loving a person, but not having such high expectations or having things that you have decided they should be ingrained in your mind, but allowing them to be who they are and loving them every step of the way, loving them in every facet of who they are, whether they be whoever you love, relationship, family, kid, friends, whatever. Love. I'm talking about love across the board. I ain't talking about your man or your girl, whoever you got. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, or just talking about that. I'm talking about all the loves that exist. How do I love all of these people operating with a non attachment, especially as a parent? So, when I was researching this, one of the things that was said was being non attached as a parent allows you to let your child grow up into the version of themselves that they choose. Stop it! How in the world? But I want her to be the best. But I want her to know how to do this. But I want her to know how to. No, because it don't matter what you want, your kids still gonna turn out how they want to turn out anyway. You can give them the tools, you can give them the lessons. Yes, do all of that. But don't be so married, so fixated on how they should be that you don't accept who they actually are. Oh my God. All right. Okay, cool. This is unfolding for me. It's unfolding for me. Next question. How will it work while working towards goals? So if I'm not fixated on anything, but I have a goal in mind, how in the world will that exist together? How do I work toward a goal and not be fixated or, in my mind, laser focused on it? So is it more so about putting the effort in to make sure that you can still reap the benefit, but understand that the benefit might come in different waves at different time frame? Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, see, I'm talking through this and I'm telling you, I'm letting you in to how I work through the things and the concepts that are introduced to me because there are a lot of times that I come to concepts and I come to things where at the beginning I'm like, I don't get it. And so I have to talk through it to be like, okay, well, now I understand it. Now I get it. God, help me help it make sense to me, Jesus. Because right now it's not. So that is how that can work. And the last question, because I know we've been going through this, we got a lot of time under our belts. Is this actually for me? And right now, the jury is still out. I think partially, in part, yes, it is for me. I think there is a freedom that is within non attachment living that I need. Yes, I did say the N word that I need. There is a part of non attachment that is going to set us free. And so I would encourage you to do a little bit more research while I do my own. But as of right now, I definitely think that non-attachment living is something that I need to explore a bit more, and it's something that I need to operate within because I want to experience the freedom. I want to experience the joy. I want to experience the things that are outside of what I could imagine or think. I want to experience the things that are invoking the joy that I desire in my life. And I also have to realize that because I want to experience all of that, there is some work and there are some sacrifices and there are some boundaries that I have to put on myself to what I'm going to not allow myself to do. I cannot try to control this. I have to put in the work. I have to be mindful of certain things. I have to remind myself when certain old patterns are coming up. And I have to still not try to control it. I got to let it be. But I still have to operate with the mindset that the best is coming towards me and that good is still for me. So, with all of that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today on the Sunshine State. My name is Sunshine Wiley, and I have been your host. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share all the things on this video with your people. This has been a journey, and this is still a journey that has required a lot in order to be consistent. And with your help, I can continue to do those things. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the positive feedback. Thank you so much for even the things that you suggested to change. Thank you so much for everything that you are saying, all the contributions, all of the sponsorships that I have coming up, all of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be sure to love on yourself just like you're loving on other people because you need your light too. You need to feel the same joy and the same kindness and the same peace and the same nurturing that you might give to other people. So do yourself a favor and do something good for yourself today. Again, my name is Sonshine Wiley. You can find us at www.sunshinestate.com. That is sunshine with an O. Again, that's www.sunshinestate.com. We have all the merch. Okay? We have all the merch. I was actually just telling my producer today that it blows my mind that I have made half of the things that are in this frame right now. These journals, it's the Sunshine State. This well brand apparel, it's the Sunshine State. Now y'all see it. Now this crop hoodie is kind of cute now. Y'all go ahead and type in and get you some. But yes, thank you so much for being there. I'll make sure for being here today. I'll make sure to include the link to everything in the description below. Please make sure that you tap in because wearing your well, I'm telling you, I walk around feeling well because I know that I'm engulfed in a brand that embodies wellness. So please make sure you support. Please make sure you join the journey. Please make sure you do all the things. Do the likes, do the subscribes, do the shares. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Love you.
Don't be afraid of the crowd, laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more. They can see you really. So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sunshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.